Alright everybody, what's going on? It is your boy C4 here, continuing with my top 5 player position breakdowns for the 2014 draft. More importantly, giving you their pro comparisons. And this day we're doing defensive ends. So we're going to do 5 through 1, as well as I always try to include a sleeper when there is necessary to have one. So we're going to start with our sleeper, and that is Dominique Easley, the defensive end / tackle from Florida. A lot of people have him rated as a defensive tackle, but pretty sure that when he makes the NFL, he'll probably be a 3-4 defensive end. Obviously he was a very first round projection. Similar, I actually think he was better than Sheriff Floyd, who went in the first round to the Minnesota Vikings last year. But he had a bad ACL. I think he's torn his ACL twice, so that is really tough. But he's very tough, very quick, very good at tackling, well-round tackler, big play, 8 sacks last year. He had 3.5 sacks for a loss in 2012 in the Sugar Bowl. Super fucking explosive. I'd say he's probably the best. Obviously he played defensive tackle for Florida, best defensive tackle, most athletic for sure in the SEC. But I think that his pro comparison is Sheldon Richardson, a guy who had a great year for the New York Jets. I think that Sheldon Richardson is probably more polished of getting past blockers because he's played defensive end a lot more. But they're both that same defensive tackle, defensive end type player hybrid. So I think Dominique Easley will be an excellent sleeper if he falls because of his injury. So I hope teams take a gamble on him. Hopefully, Philly. Number 4 is going to be Kony Ealy, the defensive end from Missouri. Now I think that with Kony Ealy, he's one of those players that had a big 1 year. And a lot of people are putting a lot of stock into that. I like guys that are more consistent. I want to see at least 2 solid years in college. But, because you have 1 good year, he had an excellent year this year. But I think it might have been better for the system because he had Michael Sam, another great player, who just missed out on my top 5 on the opposing side. So people would have to choose if they want to double coverage Ealy or they want to double coverage Michael Sam. But Ealy looks really good for a 3-4 defensive end. Good motor. He's in great shape, so he'll be able to be on the field for all 3 downs. I believe he had 9.5 sacks this season, as well as 6 deflections. Also 14.5 tackles for loss. So he's good at getting after the quarterback. Pretty athletic, 6'5", 275. Clearly, probably not one of these guys that can make a transition to an outside linebacker. I compare him to Whitney Mercilus, the defensive J.J. Watt's partner there in Houston Texans. Mercilus hasn't really lived up to his hype. He had a bad rookie year. I think he had 7 sacks last year in the NFL, which isn't too bad. But I think that's going to be similar to Ealy. I don't think he's going to live quite up to the hype. A lot of people have him ranked from WalterFootball.com, a pretty big one in regards to scouting, has him ranked as a number 2 defensive end. I think that's a little too high for a guy that's kind of had just a 1 breakout year. But we will remain to see. But I have him and Whitney Mercilus being about the same. Number 4 is Jackson Jeffcoat, the monster from Texas. I have him compared with a bigger, less athletic Trent Cole of my Philadelphia Eagles. Jackson Jeffcoat is 6'4", 250 pounds. I think he runs a 4.7, which is not too bad. The son of Jeff, is it Jeffcoat? His dad's really famous too as well. But he needs to add a lot more muscle to be a good defensive end at the NFL. I think he probably have to add like 10-15 pounds. But right now, he actually has a good projection to be a stand-up 3-4 linebacker. He's good pass rush ability, not so great in coverage, so he might not be an every down outside linebacker. You bring him in for special packages and stuff. Kind of like what Philadelphia did with Trent Cole. Trent Cole was forced more into coverage than he probably should have been through this transition season. But I see Jackson Jeffcoat being the same type of player as Trent Cole. Moving on, number 3 will be Trent Murphy, the defensive end from Stanford. An absolute animal. Watched him at the Senior Bowl. Looked unblockable at times. He's 6'6", 252. Has a projected draft grade of a 2nd round. I have him compared to a less polished J.J. Watt. Obviously, a lot less polished because J.J. Watt's the best in this game. But I think that he's as explosive. He's great at blocking down passes. Has huge arm reach, so he will be able to swat passes down. I also think that because he could also play a 3-4 outside linebacker, he has more versatility because you can play him either or. He's not that quick, though. That's his problem. He's projected to run a 4.8 40, which you probably want to see a little bit faster there for a 3-4 outside linebacker. But he had 15 sacks this year on a very good, solid Stanford defense. But But yeah, less polished J.J. Watt for Trent Murphy. I think it'll be a good pick up for most teams. Stop texting me! Number 2, we're going to have D. Ford from Auburn, the really, really undersized defensive end. I haven't compared with Elvis Dumervil. Pretty much if you bring up undersized defensive end, Elvis Dumervil is almost the comparison you'll get every single time. I think that he's incredibly fast, underrated strength, great fucking acceleration off the ball, great finesse moves. He's good at using his hands to get around players, using agility, kind of like a Dwight Freeney, Elvis Dumervil type. Obviously, he lacks the size, which may hurt his draft stock. I still think he probably will go in the early second round because obviously, great center of gravity. He'll be able to get over to those big giant tackles that are going to be trying to block him, which makes him a perfect comparison for Elvis Dumervil. But now, the clear-cut consensus of who is the number 1 defensive end, and that's easily Jadeveon Clowney, the defensive end for South Carolina. Obviously, he's been up there for pretty much since he's been a freshman. He's been number 1, 6'5", 274. He's projected to run a 4.5. I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow runs a 4.4. I think Clowney's going to pretty much destroy the combine, put up numbers that no one's ever seen before, which is why I'm his pro comparison as Julius Peppers. I think Julius Peppers now. You take Julius Peppers in his prime, and that will be Clowney once he gets in the NFL. Pretty much the only knock against Clowney is his motor. He seems like he was kind of lazy sometimes. Failure. I don't know if it was maybe just the hype machine that got to him, but pretty much the Julius Peppers, Mario Williams kind of comparison. What else can you say about Clowney? He's going to be the fastest, strongest. He's a rare player. I think he'll go first overall. I think it'll be impossible for Houston to pass him up. I think having Clowney and J.J. Watt will be something that defense team has not seen since maybe Philly had Reggie White and Jerome Brown. I think that's just, you can't pass up on that. Your defense will be unstoppable. Pretty much, who are you going to double team? Clowney or Watt? And plus, having Watt on the other side of things will make Jadeveon Clowney. If Jadeveon Clowney was on any other team, he'd get double covered every single time with tight end blocking and stuff. But when you have J.J. Watt, it'll give him way more of an advantage, and I think that will be an insane thing to watch Clowney and Watt on the same defense. Hopefully we get to see that. But there you have it, guys. Those are your top 5 and sleeper defensive ends for the 2014 NFL Draft. As always, leave a comment in the comment section below with who you think will be the best defensive end. As always, smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to Beast Mode TV for more 2014 NFL Draft Pro comparisons. It's your boy C4 saying peace out, guys.
Texas Tech is up by 4. Throws it to the halfback on the screen.